You want me to fix you, but I can't fix myself. You said, babe, I miss you, like it's a cry for help. Do you want me to stay? Do you want me to go? I think I'm going out of my mind.
Good deal.
All right, so yeah, this is one of those. How many times have we rescheduled?
What's up?
How many times have we rescheduled? 3?
At least, maybe even like 4 or 5.
I know I can think of 3 off the top of my head. So
Yeah.
because you were going to be one of my season 2 people. So
yeah. And what season are we on?
Well, the whole reason I want to talk to you is because you're busy, and the whole reason I haven't been able to talk to you is because you're busy.
You're busy. Oh, that's funny.
That's exactly it. Because I don't know, you're one of those random people that I honestly don't know how I came across. I know I found you originally on TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found you on TikTok.
I did not know that.
And then you showed up on my suggested on Snapchat.
Oh, really?
Because we have mutuals.
Do we? I wonder who. Do we know who?
I don't know who, but it said like 3+ mutual friends. And I was
Weird.
on one of those. I was on one of those adding things. I'm like, I'm just gonna start adding people because okay. To be fair, I don't know on Facebook, on Instagram, on even Twitter. I know pretty much everybody I'm linked with.
Right.
Like when I learned back in the MySpace days that I could have a million followers and have no idea who anybody was. So when I decided to downsize my Facebook a couple of years ago, I was at 5,000 with a bunch of followers, like the max of Facebook, and I downsized it to like 2,100, I think.
Yeah.
Basically got rid of it.
I have that problem too because I feel like I have so many people that I follow and they follow me, and I'm like, I don't even know any of you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I don't know any of the people. I don't know, so I downsized, and I do that on everything. So I know pretty much everybody. Every once in a while, there's somebody on Twitter that I'm like, I don't know you, but they're interesting, and I want to see what they do. TikTok, complete mystery to me. For one, I don't understand how to, what videos work and what videos don't of mine, and I don't know most of those people. The people who follow me, I think 6. The rest
I do feel that. I feel like, TikTok's like a wide range of a variety of people that I'll never meet, but I like to stay up to date with their life.
Exactly. I'm like, well, I don't know you, but this is cool. So, and it is a cool way to find shit. And the other thing is, when I'm traveling, I like to use TikTok to find shit to do.
Yep, absolutely.
So I do that.
I feel like I've learned just a lot of stuff off of TikTok.
Oh, exactly. It's actually kind of like it's YouTube downsized.
Yeah.
It's like an abbreviated version of YouTube.
It really is. It's 6-7 seconds instead of a 10-minute video.
Yeah, you're trying to pause, going, "What the fuck did they do?" Yeah, that kind of stuff. And I have more what the fuck moments on TikTok than any other time too, because it's either ridiculously painful things that happen to people, which I enjoy watching those videos. I won't lie, or just how the hell did you get that on film?
Right, absolutely.
How did you actually catch that? That has to be staged. And then when you realize there's no way that could be staged, it makes it even better.
But that's accurate. That's super accurate.
Yeah. So, but the real mystery to me is I have thousands of followers on Snapchat.
Okay.
Thousands. I don't know most of them. A huge majority, 90% of the people that follow me on Snapchat, I have no idea who they are, where they come from, any of that. So when I downsized everything last year and was like, I'm going to try and recollect my life, I went through my suggested friends on Snapchat, and that's when I think I found you. I was like, well, okay, at first I was like, this can't be the same person that I've seen on TikTok. And then I did, and it was, and I was like, okay, sweet. This works. At least I do know who this is. I have no idea who our mutuals are. I have no idea how that works.
We kept in good contact, too. I feel like we would, touch base, once every, month and a half. Hey, I didn't forget about you, but I'm just, super busy.
Yeah, well, and that's been it, too. Well, and I don't remember what the first conversation, it was something you were doing something with your clothing.
Oh, yeah.
and I asked you a question, and I don't even remember what it was, but it was one of those things that it was like 3 o'clock in the morning here, which means like 4 o'clock there,
Okay.
and you answered like immediately, and I was like, oh, I'm such a dick.
I
I didn't wake
sleep.
her up. Yeah.
No, I literally don't sleep. Like, I think I'll maybe get like 4 hours of sleep at night, but I wake up like 12 times a night.
See, and that's the people I find that are more successful and more driven are the people who sleep less and occupy their time more effectively. And I
feel like I'm wasting time when I'm sleeping, so I'm like up at odd hours of the night.
I mean, we've even talked about that a couple of times, the fact that it's the middle of the night and we're both still working and everybody else on the planet is out partying or asleep like normal people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so.
But don't get me wrong, I do have my days where like it all catches up to me and I'm like in bed all day and I'm just out cold.
I wish I could say I do that. I actually just took the first quote-unquote vacation I've taken in 19 years.
Okay, good for you. Where'd you go?
I went to Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah. And
At
the
the
thing
time
is,
of your life?
Well, I still worked. I just worked a lot less.
Figure.
Well, you have to. You know how it is.
No, I know.
You take a day
I know
off,
how
you
it
miss
is.
some emails. I mean, that's
every one
exactly
of my
what
trips
it
is like a business trip wrapped into it.
Exactly. I mean, I did a couple of quick shoots. But I made a point of I didn't tell a lot of people I was going, so that I didn't get inundated with hey, if you're going to be here, I didn't want that.
No.
I was actually going to celebrate a birthday because one of my best friends, Jasmine, I bought her a trip for her birthday, and then lockdown happened.
Oh, yeah. They had to reschedule it kind of thing?
So we just kind of waited, and the company I work through that does all my bookings and stuff, they just held the rates for me. They're like, look, it's not your fault. You can't go. Like, we'll just hold this. And they gave me 5 years.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's a good company.
I was like, I kind of love you guys. But that's the thing is that being able to travel, I mean, and you do this, you travel cross country. I mean, hell, how many times have you been driving through Grand Junction? And I'm like, wave as you go by because you're on I-70 traveling cross country.
I mean, a lot.
Exactly. So you know that when you travel a lot, you find that place that you like or that restaurant that you like or that.
Oh, yeah.
That's how
I definitely have my handful of places that I look forward to going back every time.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing is that this company has always done me right with that. And I've been working with the same couple of agents that I deal with because I didn't do traditional travel agents. These are actually people who do
so
touring.
You've got a relationship with them too where they're like, we're not even worried about you.
Exactly. Well, because I started working with them when I was touring as a musician and doing stuff. And then they were like, well, you running the label and all this other, just keep working with us. So
awesome.
It works great, and they're phenomenal people. Unfortunately they have one of those things where like, please don't ever shout us out, because I did once in an interview, and they were like, we got so many calls. They're very, very concierge. They're very small. It's two people that run it all, and they do everything, and they're like, we're very specific to don't ever shout us out. So.
I mean, I have respect for that.
No, I do too, but I do know that if you ever work with William Morris or AAP, you can work directly with them. So. For those listening that are going, well, I want that. Well, go get an agent with one of these big talent agencies, and they'll hook you up.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but I did go, and I mean, I did work a little bit, but it was actually really kind of nice because I got to go with my eldest son, which the last vacation I took was with my eldest son, but he was 2 at the time.
Okay.
He was like 2 or 3.
How old is he now?
21.
Oh, so he had fun too, I bet.
Oh, that kid killed it. Like, he absolutely did. He did more than any of the rest of us. And keep in mind, he doesn't party. He doesn't drink.
Right.
Like, he would taste drinks. Like, turns out he really likes old fashions and like Prohibition era highballs and stuff, which is awesome.
That is, because
I never would have expected that.
Yeah. That's not like every 21-year-old's favorite drink.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, give me something with bitters in it. Yeah, it's like, I want a Bud Light. He's like, no, I want a real drink, but it's cool. And he did, zip lines. Kids Afraid of Heights did a zip line. He has never been on a real roller coaster. Did the New York by himself.
Wow, he got like the full experience.
Yeah, he just went everywhere. He was like, and he was getting stuff for his siblings and going to like M&M World and Hershey and
Aww.
getting stuff for his mom. I mean, it was so cool watching him. And I went with a group of like, I mean, they're my loved ones. They're my closest. My family is so disconnected and I'm such a black sheep that my family became my friends. I chose my family, you know. And we've talked about that too, family not being blood.
Oh, yeah,
you
absolutely.
know?
Yeah, that's how my brother is. Like, me and my brother aren't blood, but, like, I mean, you pick your family when people stick around.
Exactly. Like, the people who actually, like, watch you struggle and don't try and knock you down, don't try and hold you down. That's the cool
and
shit.
It's like the ones that inspire you, they hold you up, and they, like, keep you going. Like, that's family.
Exactly. So these are the people that I got to go with, and we had some of the best food. I go to Vegas a lot on work stuff, so I know a lot of stuff. Plus,
I was going to say, I thought you did go to Vegas quite often.
Yeah, well, I do, because, well, for one, I was a card player, like, hardcore into Texas Hold'em. Like, played tournaments and stuff, and did that for a lot of years. So I used to go to Vegas, and honestly, my very first girlfriend went to UNLV, and, God, I'm about to say this on air. I've never actually admitted this to a large group of people. I was actually going to move to Las Vegas, and she broke up with me 2 days before I moved.
Oh, you're poor father. I don't mean to laugh, but like, what?
No, it's funny now because I'm one of those weird people. I'm still friends with all of my exes, and she actually we talked yesterday because she didn't get to see me this time. She was so busy with her kids. Yeah, I'm friends with all my exes except my last ex.
That's except that last one. That's
no, my last ex.
though.
Yeah, well, that was one of those. That was the last one fucked me up. I won't lie. Like we were doing so well, and we were talking like forever.
Yeah.
It's the first time I ever let like anybody really in and really be a part of everything, business,
like,
all of it.
That's the worst.
And then it ended like literally like on a Sunday evening. We were booking trips and we were making plans, and I was putting money into merchandise and putting money into conventions and booking trips and doing all this stuff. And on Tuesday night, she dumped me. Like literally,
did she let you down easy, or was it like she pulled the rug out from underneath you?
No, it was literally she disappeared for the day, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, what talk to me? And she said, I can't do this. You make me want to kill myself. I can't fucking be with you anymore. And the next morning she moved out. It was that fast. It was a 48-hour turnaround. No, honest to God. Like, if you'd asked me 3 months prior if we were doing like Rocky, yes. We were like, ironically, this is like almost exactly 3 years ago. The anniversary of the breakup is May 21st, 3 years ago.
That's wild.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a rapid fucking crazy little train, and it actually not only because she was involved in the businesses of the record label and my DJing and everything. Like it was all of it all at once, and because of that, it was really, really financially and business devastating. I almost didn't ride that one out.
Well, and like that's like I feel like why I'm so single is because like the next person that I want to be involved in everything that I do, with the thought of having somebody else like so involved into like what I'm passionate about scares me.
And I respect the fuck out of that. In all honesty, like I don't talk about my love life very often.
Yeah, I don't either because I don't have one and it's dysfunctional.
Well, but see, that's just it. Is that mine is? I am the guy who I have so many. We've talked about this too. The fact that I'm the guy who has so many female friends because they know I'm safe. They know I'm the guy they can count on, and I like to take my friends on dates.
Absolutely, as you should. Like that's healthy. That is normal. Like, but I can get in a relationship standpoint where that gets rocky. Like,
Yeah, when you stand the other side of it is that, and it's something that I don't talk about, but I'm actually polyamorous. I have a really. It's not that I have a hard time with monogamy. If you ask me monogamous, it's easy.
Right.
I can commit to a relationship,
Absolutely.
but I don't like the concept of giving yourself entirely to someone who doesn't do the same for you.
Absolutely, 100%. I get both sides of it.
I do too, and
like when I'm committed, I'm like committed. I'm all in, like. But then it's just like that's why I feel like I stay single, just so like I just protect like my own energy. and I just, like, do my own thing, and I don't, like, give my all to someone that could potentially just, like, destroy me. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and that's my thing. Is that like do I love people? Yes. Do I give do I give in a relationship? Yes. But I don't believe in limiting that. Like right now, I have a woman living with me who I love her very much. We have a great friendship, great relationship. It's like being together, but she also has this, like, even some of her friends she will bring to me and, like, I need you to kind of be their surrogate boyfriend to get them through this. And we have one friend between us who, like, she literally is like, this is one person, like, if she moved in with us, I would be okay with this because she needs you as much as I need you. And you can be this rock for us.
That's, like, wild. Like, I guess I've never, like, talked to someone that has that, but, like, that's kind of, like, I mean, like, mad respect for, like, her, like, helping her friend, though. Like, you know what I mean?
She's so confident and so, and that's what it takes.
That's exactly what it is. It is confidence, 100%.
She knows I would never do anything to hurt her feelings or do that. And I've had that before. You know, the ex that destroyed me, she's bi. And she was like, I will absolutely commit to you and be with you 100%. And you will be with me 100%. But there was, at one point, she was like, I do miss being with women. And she actually, like, kind of without me really knowing, was trying to, like, bring in a third so we would be a throuple. And it wasn't a sex thing. It was literally we both needed that extra feminine energy in her mind.
Right.
It ended up not working out because they very rarely do, and that's just how that works.
I was gonna say, like, I could only imagine, like, I mean, I don't know, but, like, I couldn't imagine how well some of those things would work. Like, I imagine, like, sometimes it just really works, and sometimes it just really doesn't.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I know a couple people that are in thruples. I know one married group that is, God, they're amazing. They really are the best wives for each other. They're the best husband-wife in both relationships. I mean, it's absolutely even and equal, but they're all so completely comfortable with, and they're completely open. It takes an honesty that most people are uncomfortable with.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah. So it's a lot harder for me lots of times to commit to, because I will never divulge information without some kind of provocation. I grew up being kind of a scumbag, and I don't really I'm not proud of that. Right. But if somebody asks me, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to blow smoke up there.
Transparency is, like, everything. Like, I'm a super transparent person. Like, I'm, like, an open book. Like, so, like, I mean, I feel like with that kind of situation, you would have to be, like, very transparent, especially with, like, anyone that kind of comes into your life.
Well, and see, I play both sides of the card, and a lot of my friends, especially a lot of my friends, they call me, they say that I'm kind of a vampire, and that they meet me, they know me, I'm this nocturnal being in their life, and they know enough about me to know that they're intrigued, then they want to know more, but they don't know what questions to ask, and because I don't volunteer the information, I kind of have, like, this mystery. And I really don't. Like if you want to know the bad things I've done, most of it's in a police record if you want to look it up. I mean, it's not hard to figure this shit out, but because I don't just talk about it. Because if you, like, I have my one friend, Kate, friends for 2 years before she realized how many kids I had or met any of them. And was like, yeah, she's like, she knew I had my daughter that I take care of that's around a lot, but she never even met her. She knew she was around a lot. She'd hear her on the phone, or she'd, I gotta grab her and take her to the doctor. I gotta do this. But then when my eldest son moved back to the area, she's like, wait, you have a son? I was like, I mean, yeah, and I have a stepson and a stepdaughter too. And she was like, wait, what? How do I not know this? And she was like mad at me. And I'm like, you never asked. You didn't ask me, so I didn't think. I
do know a lot of people that are like that, though. Like, they don't give more information than they ask. And then there's, like, me, and I'm like, what do you want to know? Like, I got 12 stories. Like, what's up?
Well, but, okay. And the very first time we talked, you were kind of like I'm going to give you enough information so that you feel like we have a connection, but I'm not going to give you enough that you could ever hurt me with it.
Right. Well,
and I caught that really quick. Like, okay, you've been burned by people that you're close to.
Oh, yeah. I feel like, even, like, lately, like, I feel like every single one of my bridges have just been set on fire, and I'm just, like, by myself in the middle of an island, like, just chilling.
That's not always a bad thing, though.
It's not, though. I love the island. Like, the views are beautiful. Like, everything's like, it's my island. I do whatever I want. Like, I don't have to consider anyone else, and I just kind of just been, you know, doing my thing. And it's like the focus has been insane because I've been able to just completely focus on like my art and my grind and just what I'm passionate about.
That's a good. Okay, so let's just get into it. For one, you've got it's Wild Times, right?
Wild Times, yeah.
Yeah. When did that start, and how did that come about?
Honestly, Wild Times kind of like fell in my lap in a sense. Like, so I bartend, and I had some guy at the bar, and I was like, what do you do for work? Like, you know, the basic bar talk when you're trying to pass time. And he was like, you know, I help people start businesses. And I was like, sick, I want to start a business. Like, because I did so much promo work for other companies, which I absolutely loved every company I've ever worked with. But it's like one of those things that, like, I want to promote myself. Like, you know, my following's starting to get bigger. Like, I just kind of want to do my own thing. And so I'd gotten into contact with this guy, and he kind of, like, he was like a third party, so he like did all the shipping and like the making and whatever. I just pretty much gave him designs of like what I wanted and like what colors and like all that kind of stuff. And then yeah, so that was a year ago in August. But then so that was like a whole crazy thing. I like randomly woke up one day and he goes, "All right, well we have everything in line. We just need a name." And I'm like, I have no clue what to name my clothing brand on a random Wednesday. Like, you know what I mean? And I just, like, woke up and Wild Times kind of just, like, clicked in my head. And I'm like, run it. Like, let's see what happens.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. But then since then, I've left doing a third party, and now I'm doing everything myself, which is, like, a super long process, but it's, like, going to be worth it this summer when I do my drop. So now I'm doing all the inventory myself, the shipping myself, like all that kind of stuff, like doing it all myself. So we'll see how that goes.
And yeah, I do know. I did the exact same thing. That's how we started a lot of our dropship stuff back when we were in bands, and then taking it over, and now I do it all in-house. It takes time to get there.
It's so much more rewarding, though, like mentally, like physically having it in your hand and being like, I designed this, I did this, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, I absolutely do. I'm actually right now, the thing that kills me with that is trying to stay ahead of yourself. Because, like, right now, I have 2 shirts ready to go. Yeah. Three shirts ready to go that I have not launched yet, that we're still doing the test printing, where we're trying to figure out exactly the right discharge mix and how we're going to do it and what we're going to do, and making sure the signature's right and all that stuff.
The right fabrics and the right colors. Yeah, no, I get you.
Well, and I mean, that stuff I know because I do most of my stuff is discharged, so it's white print on black, but it's actually discharged through the fabric, so it's not a print on, it's a print through. It never fades.
Oh, I love that. I know, I switched to embroidery, so most of my stuff this summer that I'm going to be bringing out is, like, all embroidered, and...
Yeah, that's cool as shit.
Super, like, I literally found, like, the best embroidery company. They, like, work around the clock for me, and they're amazing.
That's awesome to see that.
Yeah, super excited to work with them.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like, I know what shirts I want. I know what designs. I've been doing this long enough. I've got most of it down, but the design stuff, because it's based on my photography, people are just like, holy shit, man, we're going to have to print like 30 of these to get it right.
Yeah.
And that's expensive as hell. The test process is super expensive. It's harder to print one shirt than it is to print 100.
Right.
And absolutely. So when we're doing all this, it's really rough. So but it is so rewarding when you finally get there. And for me, the reward, because all of it's based on the photography. And one of the things that I do is any garment that I do that is based on somebody, any harness that is inspired by someone, any of that stuff, I share 50% of the profits with that person. Absolutely.
I absolutely, like, love that. Like, and, like, I feel like that's, like, how it should be, you know?
Well, it should. And too often, I mean, we'll get into your photography here in a minute, but you as a photographer know that there are times where if you don't have the right model or you don't have the right inspiration,
it's not
the whole
work.
thing sucks. We're just somebody standing there pushing buttons.
Yep.
So when somebody truly inspires you, truly draws something out of you and brings you to the moment, you know,
you got to take it and run with it. Like,
you have to.
Yeah,
for me, like, I describe a good photo shoot like dancing.
Yeah.
I love dancing.
Well, and the vibes have to be, like, immaculate. Like, that's, like, my thing is, like, I'm all about the vibes. I'm all about, like, the flow of everything. Like, that's like, ideal. Like...
Precisely. So when you're doing that and you find that connection, that chemistry, where it's it's like, wow, we really just met.
Yeah.
You really just feel aligned and just in sync, and like just all of it, auditorily, visually, everything is just lined up.
And you're like, and everything goes so good. You're like, I want to get home and edit these right now.
Yeah. And there's those moments. And so for me to take that and then hand someone a garment and go, this is a physical representation of
that is art, though. That is
who
art.
we are. Because an image, I love the images. I love the videography and the photography. I do. But when you give somebody something tangible that they're like, oh, my God, you just gave me a shirt of me? What?
Absolutely.
That's me? And this is everywhere. That look on their face the first time they see it.
It's empowering. Like, I literally made some shirts with my face on them the other day, and I, like, ordered a bunch of them, and I'm like, I love this. Like, it's a whole vibe. Like, because it's, like, one of my self-portraits. I'm like, I put in a bunch of work to, like, do these of myself. Yeah. And throwing them on a shirt and having people sit there and be like, I want a picture of your face on my shirt. Like, I don't know. It's a support for me. You know what I mean? There you go.
And that's just it. It's not even an ego thing. It's literally
it's not at all. It's like the support. Like, I see your art. Like, even if I did any other picture on there, people like supporting that. Like, I don't know. Nothing means more to me.
Right. Like that sense of empowerment, being able to do that when you're doing those things. You said it. You didn't know like your name. You didn't know what you wanted it to be, and it just kind of came out.
Yeah.
Like I put so much thought that people don't realize into the images that I present and the way that
Absolutely.
I do my style and my editing and I don't necessarily expect people to know, but when they do catch on and they do see something,
right.
I'm like,
honestly, but hard work will always show. Like, that is like one thing that I've realized is like, however much you work in the dark and that people don't see it, it'll always show. Like, always.
Yeah. Well, and that's been because I tend to work from home. If I have a warehouse space, I work from a warehouse space. If I'm running a venue, I work from the venue. But if I'm working, I work from my garage. Like right now, my office is what is supposed to be a dining room, but that's my office. That's my space.
Yeah.
And so I can be in the middle of stuff. I can talk to my kids and hang out and not feel like I'm missing out. I can talk to people when they come over. And there is kind of a rotating cast of people who come through wherever I live. That's
I think we talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just those people. And it's not that they're necessarily coming over to bother me or because they need something. Sometimes they're just coming over to kind of like watch me be busy.
Yeah.
And like my friend Josh.
I would love to job shadow you one day.
Yeah. Well, the thing that kills me is like Josh is one of my favorites because Josh he's an engineer. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's got a big boy job and doing big boy things and going all over. And it's like, he will bring his video game computer over and set it on the other end of my desk, and he will do flight simulators or play Elden Ring
he just come
while
and hang out and work alongside. I love that.
He's literally he just wants to hang out.
I need friends like that. Like, I need friends that, like, when I'm, like, doing all these things, that they just, like, ride along with me and do their thing and just keep me company.
Well, and that was the start of the travel thing for me, is that I didn't start bringing people on travel. When I was playing music more, I would bring, like, my daughter needed full-time care, and I couldn't leave her, so I would bring an au pair with me.
Okay, that's awesome.
And they would travel with me a little bit, and I started doing that, and I did, a trip to Vegas, I did a trip to Milwaukee, I did a couple of things, and then some of my other friends were like, man, that actually sounds like fun, like, do you need more help? And I started doing the conventions and doing the tattoo stuff, and then more and more people, and then I started meeting up with people where they realized, like, hey, you get discounts, I'll pay my way, you get me the discount, so instead of spending $900, I'm spending like $300 or $400.
Right.
I'll come with and I'll work for you.
That's so cool. I love that.
It was, and so I get to travel with my friends, and it's the same thing. Like I have models that meet up with me. They'll come from LA, or they'll meet up with me to do the same thing. They're like, hey, I need out of town, and I want to go have some fun, but I don't want it to be for free. I don't want to mooch off you. Like, can I come work for you for a weekend?
Mad respect for that. I love that.
I dig that. I'm like, cool. So they'll come and they'll come to Colorado, or they'll meet me in Vegas, or we'll go to LA, or we'll go to Texas. And that's how that all started, was that people just wanted to kind of hang out, because I never stop working. I don't.
I mean, likewise.
Exactly. I mean, okay, I'll ask you flat out. How many places do you keep notes where you're like, shit, I better write that down?
Oh, notes are everywhere. You should see my calendar. Everyone at work always, like, makes fun of me for my, like, calendar, because, like, probably at least like 4 times a day. I'm like, oh, I gotta write that down on my calendar. Like, I literally have like a huge calendar filled with everything that I possibly potentially maybe might need to do. And then like my notes in my phone is like insane. Like I'm always just randomly like writing and deleting everything. Sticky notes everywhere. I got like 10 notebooks at home.
I sent you the snap of my calendars that I have on the wall.
Yeah.
And my dry erase boards. That's exactly. I mean, I have little scraps of paper. I actually write on the back of my hand a lot. I've been doing that since I was a kid.
If I didn't have tattoos, I could probably do that.
No, I am actually getting, like, we've planned it several times. I'm getting notebook paper tattooed on the back of my left hand.
Oh, I love that.
So that I can write on it, and it's all like a little bit neater and stuff. Because it's just been an ongoing joke for like, we're talking 20 years now of me doing that. And so I'm like, cool, yeah, let's fucking do it. I'm in. So
I love that.
You know, when you're taking notes and you're doing stuff, you're constantly thinking. So I'll be in the middle of a conversation where I'm discussing a movie and something will click in my head like, oh, fuck. And I will be talking to the person and, like, focused on them, but totally writing something else. And like, I need to remember this. I need to write that down. And if I don't write the shit down, I do. I'm so busy that it's not that I necessarily forget it. It just doesn't maintain its level of importance.
Because I'll have, like, random thoughts where I'm like, I need to do this, but then they just get, like, washed in all the other thoughts, and then they'll pop up, like, a week later, but I'm like, I need to do it already.
Yeah, and that's so, when you're doing that stuff, like, going, like I said, I went to Vegas, and I didn't really take off. I did emails, I made phone calls, I did stuff. I just didn't do the day-to-day. And then I kind of fudged it a little bit because everybody thought I was coming back on Friday. Well, we had a really bad winter storm on Friday, so we left Thursday night. I actually spent the day Friday catching up on all the shit that I missed before I had to deal with people knowing I was back. It could come bother me again. You know, it's that kind of thing that you have to do sometimes, taking notes and writing shit down and giving yourself that moment. When I'm alone, it was one of those moments that I'm not exactly proud of myself because it was stupid, but a couple weeks back, you know, no one was here. Everybody was in Denver, or, you know, my kids were on vacation and everybody was working and everybody was doing stuff, and nobody was here. And so when I saw my last human being on Thursday afternoon at a doctor's appointment, and the next Friday, so 8 days later, was the first time I saw somebody. They came and we went and grabbed dinner real quick, and then I came back and I worked. But I was averaging 20 hours a day that week and a half.
Are you, like, I'm just working? You're working, or what?
I was just working 20 hours a day for like 10 days straight. That. And I got caught up. I got a lot of shit done. I mean, I'm doing so many different things. That's what it took. So, yeah, I was taking like 3 to 4 hours a day off, quote unquote, couple hours to eat, couple hours to sleep. That was basically it. And I did that, and that was what I did to prepare for going on vacation, which wasn't really a vacation.
Right. I feel like you're kind of like me. Like, I thrive in the chaos, and I thrive in busy, and if it's not like that, like, I can't do it. I have to, like, fill my books. Like, everything has to constantly be.
Well, and people laugh at me because, like, I do itineraries. I've learned forever ago that if I don't actually put itineraries together when I do anything and plan and schedule my week out, that I will just skip things like eating and sleeping. I'll just skip them.
Yeah, I feel that.
And the last line on every itinerary date that I have is fun shit. Yeah. And then the subtext says, do it, stupid. Like, it actually says that on my spreadsheet. It says, do it, stupid. Because the number of times where I've had friends like, hey, let's grab dinner. I'm like, sure.
No, I can't.
When can I pencil you in? And they're like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, I'm dead serious. You want to grab a drink or something?
Yeah, there's like, I feel that because, like, there are, like, times when I travel and, like, I have people that I want to see there, and I'm like, I want to see you so bad, but we only got, like, 2 days to work with. That's what it is. How far are you from Denver?
It's, I don't know the mileage. It's about 3.5, 4 hours. It's really not bad.
So that's not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, so many people that live here actually work in Denver that I know. Yeah. Where they'll go over to Denver for a week or two at a time and work over there.
I miss Denver. I feel like I always spend so much time there.
See, I love Denver. It got really crowded over the last decade, and I like city living. I don't like city traffic.
That's fair. That's
like
fair.
I learned to drive in California. I learned to drive in LA and Santa Barbara and Monterey and Camarillo and things like that. That's when I learned to drive. So you'd think I'd be prepared. My first time experiencing true road rage, I was in Kansas City at like 22, and I just wanted to kill everyone.
Oh, no.
I was just so mad. I was so mad with everything. So there's times in driving in Denver where I'm just, because they're dropping I-70 below the plane so that it goes underneath. It's like basically a tunnel for a lot of it.
Oh, wow.
And they're doing a lot of, it's cool. But there's so much construction that it gets really convoluted. And getting anywhere in town that used to take 30 minutes now takes almost an hour.
Ooh,
and that's me knowing, like, I know the back roads. I know the other ways to get places. It still takes that long.
That's insane.
So that gets to me. And then during lockdown, the area where I live in is very, very backwater. It's very redneck, very conservative, very racist where I live. A lot of the Western Slope is. And
it's awful.
It is. It's horrible. But I've discovered in going to Denver that when during, after lockdown, things like that, they're so concerned about some of the unnecessary things. It's almost to the point where it's like everybody's afraid to commit to doing anything. So like there'll be these, we're going to do this big meeting, and then no one really wants to do it. Or it's like, hey, we're going to have a meetup, and then like 3 people show, or we're all going to go to the zoo together, and it's like, yeah, there's like, because everybody's like, well, but we don't want to like be around each other. It's really still kind of there, and so that makes it harder.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, because I mean, you know how it is. I mean, our jobs are fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are. They're fun.
I love every second of it. Yeah.
Everybody's like, why did you choose this? Like, because I never had to grow up. I get paid to hang out with beautiful people. Who the fuck wouldn't do that?
Well, it's even just like that. I'm a different kind of people. Like, I'm a networking person. I'm a social butterfly. Like, I want to meet new people constantly. Like, I always want to be doing something different. I don't think I could do anything if I had to do the same thing every day. You know what I mean? Like, I constantly need, like, new energies, new faces, new experiences, like, constantly.
Well, my biggest social prescription since I was a kid was, if you're the smartest motherfucker in the room, you're in the wrong fucking room.
Yeah.
You always, and you can't do that in one place. You can't find people who are going to, you can. I mean, I've managed to build a fairly tight-knit group of people here in Grand Junction with the art community, where we really do, when it comes down to it, we are the bloodlines to making sure that shit happens. Yeah. But
I know, that's like easy. All I want is like a nice big group of creative people just to like bounce ideas off of and just hang out with, but I've not accomplished that goal yet.
No, well, it takes years to really do that. I mean, I'm lucky. I mean, I was laughing because people were talking about Facebook friends, and there's this guy, and do you know this guy, and do you know that girl, and you know this? I'm like, no. Well, I have him on Facebook. Cool, I don't. And if you look on my Facebook, like, local people that I know, less than 100. Less than 100. Out of 2,500 people on my Facebook, less than 100 are local. My LinkedIn is more like local people, local businesses. But my actual, like, social interaction, no. My Facebook is people all across the world. Yeah. My Snapchat is people all over the world. Like, I talk to people in Australia and Germany and France. And,
I love that. I absolutely love that.
And that's what it takes when you really want to be challenged and you really want to know how to grow as a person. Not when it doesn't matter how many likes you have, when it doesn't matter how many followers you have, when it's literally like, I want to learn something from a person. Yeah. That's what it takes. And the internet allowed that. I embraced that at the beginning, at the onset of the internet. Like, holy shit, I can talk to people around the world. I can play games with somebody in Australia. Hell yeah, I'm going to do that.
Like, I have like friends on Instagram that like I've never met before, but like we're always hyping each other up and encouraging each other and like giving each other ideas, and like that's the stuff I live for. Like, I don't care how many followers, how many likes, or any of that. Like, it's like the connections and like the networking and like, help, like even like helping other people. Like, I get messages like all the time, like, how'd you start your brand, or like how'd you get into modeling, and like to be able to like help people do what similar things to me, like, is everything. Like, that's so cool.
Absolutely. And that, for me, that's like, well, when you get to build somebody up, you get to watch them succeed, and you get to be a part of that. Even if the part of it is literally just, no, don't give up yet.
Yeah, exactly. Don't give up. Like, I love supporting people, like, especially just like people that are like taking that first step into like going towards something that they're scared to do, and then they actually like do it, and watching them like follow through with that is like amazing. Yeah.
Well, and for me, like, some of the people I talk to online are some of my closest friends, but most of them don't even know what I look like.
I don't say I don't even know what you look like.
No, almost no one does. I used to be a really fun. It's a fun game we do, and I talked about it here Skylar, Job, and the guys that I do all this with, like, they've laughed because they've actually gone to these conferences and these conventions and things, and people will walk up to them thinking they're me.
I remember you telling me that when we like had that one call that one night.
Yeah. Like they will literally
funny.
think that, and they'll sit and Cody can do it, Skylar can do it, you know, Jobin can do it, where they can fake being me to a level where it starts talking like actual scheduling or like tech gear and like, okay, when we this and I was thinking this, or like special effects. So all of a sudden they're like, okay, I'm totally not how you think I am. That's the guy you want to talk to, and they're like, seriously? The guy in the corner? That what?
Right.
And I love that. I love that because it's that Wizard of Oz moment.
Internet is kind of like not like deceiving, but like you don't always like see or know everything kind of thing. Like with me, I've had people come up to me or like I've gone to like shoot and they're like, "What's your name even?" Like we only know you as Little Paulson, and I'm like, that's actually really funny. Like I never even like thought of that.
See, and I tend to call. Well, I've been friends with porn stars and strippers and things for so long. I'm so used to using. Everybody in my life has a nickname.
Right. Which is,
like
I mean,
you're in
cool.
my phone as Little K.
Little K, I love that.
It sounded thug as shit, so I liked it.
I love it.
You know, I mean, that's just. I'm used to that side of it, but what gets me is how many people that I'm friends with that I talk to daily, weekly, monthly, that they'll finally, like, they'll come in, and I've had people I've had phone conversations with people hours for months on end where they finally come to meet me, and I will deliberately be in a group and I won't say anything and just watch them try and figure out who I am. I've had people talk to me about me.
Yeah, I'm going to meet this one guy.
No, like, especially when I was playing, because when I played drums, I faced backwards. So they only knew me by my tattoos or my hair.
Really?
They couldn't actually see my face.
That's kind of a vibe.
Yeah, I face backwards when I play drums, and when I DJ, I wear a mask. Like, the whole mask thing, when everybody's like, oh my God, I'm wearing a mask, I'm like, fuck yes, it's my time. Like, I wear masks all the time. I make them. I mod them. I love that shit. I've been that way for years. So for me, most people don't know who I am. So I would be
cool,
like, dude, did you catch that fucking creepy-ass DJ playing that metal step set? That was so cool. Like, I haven't heard that shit. It was so weird. I was like waiting for one song, and it was another song. And I'm like, that was totally me. But I don't say anything. I let them, like, yeah, dude, I heard he's a
You're like, yeah, dude.
Totally I heard he's an asshole. He doesn't know how to tip. Like, he kicks kittens. Like, I'll just talk shit about him. I'm like, no, man, he's got it. It's I love that. It's so fun. The anonymity gives you this sense of just being able to be somebody else. And that's like, and of course I do voices and I do all these other things. So I will occasionally like just affect some weird accent.
Yeah, why not?
And they don't realize that I'm the same person they were just listening to. Like if I was talking or something like that. It's fun as shit. I fucking love it. It's fun as shit. And it's almost like I'm a professional catfish, but I'm actually like completely real.
A professional catfish. That is iconic.
I'm completely real. Like I'm not there.
That's crazy. That's kind of cool though.
Yeah. It gives, like I say, I don't, life is not measured in likes and follows. Life is not measured in successes and failures. Life is measured in moments.
100%.
And if you share a moment, if you actually share a moment with somebody, it matters to both of you forever.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, memories are like my biggest thing too. Like, that's the only, if I could collect one thing, it'd just be memories.
Well, and like I'm a minimalist. I don't believe in I don't like junk. I don't like stuff around.
No, I'm like the farthest thing from materialistic. Yeah.
And so people always give me shit because I don't buy souvenirs. I don't take pictures with everybody. Like I genuinely kind of feel bad. I have one ex-girlfriend. She laughs because she says, "Here's the picture of us," and it's my arm. My arm in the photo. It's the only picture that the two of us are in together ever. Because it's a picture of a bunch of them, and I happen to be standing there, and you see my arm, and it's unmistakably my arm with the tattoos and everything like that. But she's like, we never took a photo together. You're like, in a year and a half relationship, we never took a photo together. And I'm like, I don't like photos. Sorry.
That's funny.
I just don't. So when you look at those things, those moments, for her, I feel bad because she doesn't have those photos to look at. But at the same time, when she thinks about it, she goes, it's actually kind of awesome that you never got a photo. Like, you would see a camera and you would just Irish goodbye. It's like you're a fucking camera ninja. Like, when it comes to putting the camera out there, you're great. But when it comes to the camera gets pointed, you just know where they are and you just disappear.
So you don't like getting your picture taken, like, at all?
I absolutely hate it. Which is funny because I used to act and do stunts and things. I mean, if I'm covered in makeup or gore, I'll do it.
Right.
If it's for a role, I'll do it. But it comes to just like, hey, let's take a family photo. Nah, I'm good.
Okay. That's funny.
I just don't like it. And I have, when people ask me, like, it's like, send me a selfie. I've never actually taken a selfie. Not really. I mean, I've sent, like, I'm working on this makeup or I'm doing some of the clown stuff that I do on TikTok or things like that. I'll post that shit. But people are like, still can't tell what you look like. I'm like, that's kind of the point. So when I actually do stuff, like, I actually, like, people are like, well, what do you look like? And I have actually saved on my phone a picture of a potato.
Okay. I was actually going to ask you. I'm like, you should send it to me. And I'm like, no, never mind.
Yeah, I actually have a picture of a potato. I have the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Okay.
I have a Gamorrean guard from Return of the Jedi. I have Shrek. I have Jar Jar Binks.
So I'm not going to ask you for a picture of yourself.
I literally have the, and I could do this for hours, where I literally can, I mean, I have like 40 or 50 of them saved of just random things. And when people are like, well, this can't be, it's like, actually, if you blend this one and they had a baby, that would be me. I can keep even doing that. And it drives people nuts. But I also have, like, when people are like, when I'll have somebody be like, Marco, I have a picture of a polo player that I can text back.
That's so funny.
I keep dumb shit like that because I love, even with my closest friends, I would rather be kind of a dick and remain kind of aloof and kind of step back. It gives me...
low-key's kind of cool, though. Like, I feel like...
It's just part of my personality.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, it's some shtick. No, it's really just who I am, and I think it's fucking fun. My best friend, I never met her boyfriend in person. They were together for like 3 years. Yeah, it became a game for me. Like, he would show up where we were, and I would disappear. He came to pick us up from the airport. I took the train.
That's so funny.
And she's like, you're seriously doing this on purpose? I'm like, you're fucking right, I am. This is
absolutely
funny. And it drove him nuts. He's like, you're the most important person in your life, and you won't meet me? Nah. Nah, I'm good.
Just out here steady causing problems.
Yep. And he's like, it makes me not trust you. Cool, man. Well, I'm not doing anything because I'm never around.
That's so bad.
No, it's a dick move, but I really do that stuff, and I am that guy. Like, I have had people say, like, what do you think about my relationship? It sucks. It's fucking bullshit.
Relationships are rough.
When you talk about that, like, what do you think about that? Like, if you ask me my opinion, I'm gonna give it to you. Yeah. You may not like it, but I'm gonna give it. And so that ties into the whole thing. Like, I could get to be, like, with this podcast, the whole thing was that a bunch of us are we're miscreants. We're not good people, but some of the shit we do, the whole, like, no good story starts with, so I was drinking a glass of milk, with the exception of Clockwork Orange. You don't ever have that moment. We're those people who, like, I was sitting there just kind of chilling on my porch, and then a squirrel walked up, and then suddenly there was a car flying through It's those random moments that we all realize that when you're a kind of a bad person or you put yourself in dumb situations, those are the funny stories people want to hear.
I'm definitely one of those people that put myself in dumb situations.
There was that one night when you're like, I don't even know how I got here. Like, you were posting a picture in the middle, and it was gorgeous, great, and you're like, I don't even know how I got here. And you had to, like, backtrack for 24 hours and go,
where was I?
This was like a year ago. You posted something. You were in this really pretty area, and you were, like, middle of nowhere. You're traveling cross country. You took this picture of this great landscape, and you're like, I don't even remember how I got here.
I found the donkeys on those random trails in Colorado.
Yeah.
That was the weirdest thing ever. We were, like, literally driving, and I was, like, with my, like, best friend. I'm like, dude, those are wild donkeys, I think.
Yeah.
And we literally
we
fed them trail mix for like an hour.
Yeah. You're like, what the fuck? Like, how did I even get here? Because a day ago, this was not my plan.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that's the stuff that makes life more fun. And that's the stuff that makes life, people want to live that vicariously. Like, you see the stuff on especially Instagram and TikTok are the two that you see it the most, where people are like super glamorous and they're living this great life and they're living this, oh, look how hot, I'm on the red carpet, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
Yeah, see, I've never aspired to have that. Like, I aspire to have, like, a spontaneous life. Like pretty much like living the like wild times, fullest potential, just like traveling and like spontaneously, like never having a set plan and just like going through life, kind of just like flowing and ending up where I'm like meant to end up.
Well, and that's, if you watch people that live like that, you watch the videos, you watch the really blown up, really truly viral ones. Yeah, there's ones of the really hot model who just suddenly found their moment, or the actor who had this passionate connection, or the really cute stuff with their puppy just fucking, grew up to be a fucking beast or something. But the ones that are the most popular, the ones that really have millions upon millions of views, are the ones where it's like, this leopard seal just jumped up on my boat, now I don't know what to do, and it won't leave.
Yeah, literally.
2.8 million views later.
I've literally seen that one. Is that the one with the whale where it was like the whale was in the water and the seal was just like chilling on the boat, like I ain't going back in? Yeah,
wouldn't go back in. Yeah, literally, it's like, okay, now we don't know what to do. There's that one. There's the one where the guy's like sitting there, he's like, man, this is so great, and he's on his surfboard, and he's just chilling and like looking out across the bay. He's in San Francisco, just kind of like on a wakeboard, and he turns and there's a shark charging him.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, like 3 million views.
See, I don't know how to swim, so like something like that would be tragic.
You are the fourth person that I know that is a damn adult that doesn't know how to swim.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's bad.
How?
Like,
the people...
I almost drowned when I was like 5, and I think like at that point my parents were like, yeah, we're not even going to teach you.
Yeah, like, fuck this. It's just not worth it.
You just stay out of the water. You'll be fine.
Yeah, just don't do it. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how to fly, but I get on planes a lot, so...
I mean, fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the water. I love boating and stuff. My son's actually
I love
buying a
the water.
kayak.
Like, I'll go in it. I just, like, I need, like, a floaty or, like, I can't go in too deep.
Yeah. Well, all my friends are like, dude, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to go kayak. I want to go raft. Like, we can't swim. Fuck you.
I'll still do all of that stuff. I'm, like, and I'm a little, like, risky sometimes. I won't even do a life jacket. I'm just like, if it's my time, it's my time. But, like, let's go have fun.
I guess that's okay. I just laugh, like, the number of people that they don't know how to swim. It just shocks me because when I was a kid, like, if you didn't know how to swim, people made you.
Right.
It was literally like, we're going to throw your ass in.
Death, I'd probably, like, figure it out, but, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It blows my mind. Sometimes when people can't... I mean, I get how people that are in an inner city, like, if you grew up in the Bronx, where there is no water and there's no access, and you haven't left your 4-block, city area in your entire life. Okay, I get that.
But I live in Minnesota. Like, we got 10,000 lakes. Like, I feel like I don't really have an excuse. I don't have an excuse.
None. I mean, you literally live near 5 of the largest bodies of water on the planet, and you could jump in any of them within an hour.
I literally have like 4 lakes within like a 10-minute radius.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you driving. You drive past a couple going to work and shit, so you really don't have an excuse. It's not like you don't have access. You just don't have the... And I guess if you have something dramatic happen, like...
Yeah.
I get that.
But yeah, no, it was in, like, Lake Superior that I almost drowned in. It was, like, super cold water.
It's not even like, it's not even like one of those, like, oh, hey, I fell into a puddle and...
No, I slipped
off
off like a big, like, retaining rock and, like, slipped, like, right off the ledge into the water.
Yeah, okay, so you at least have the trauma to base your situation off of. I'll give you that one. Mm-hmm. I'll give you that one. I still think you should do it, but the fact that you still brave the waters is great. Like,
it would be, like, embarrassing at this point to, like, show up to, like, swim school and be like, hey, so I don't know how to swim, and there'd be, like, a bunch of, like, kids in there who could probably swim way better than me.
I just have this image of, like, some 6-year-old kid just giving you shit, like, catch up, do better.
Absolutely. Are you too grown for this?
Yeah. Have you seen Step Up?
Dude, I have one of those incidents. Okay, so, like, I decided I was like, I kind of want to get into, like, music a little bit. I'm like, let's take some singing lessons, right? And I'm like, I'm 23 years old, and I'm like, I'm one of those people, like, I want to do everything. Like, there's not, like, one thing I want to do. And I was like, we're going to try singing lessons. I'm like, cool. So I signed up for the school. I walk in, and there are kids everywhere. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, Kate, did we really, like, what did you do? And so, like, I walk up, and I'm like, I'm here for my singing lessons. I got these parents looking at me like, who is this old lady in here? Like, and I, like, asked my teacher, I'm like, dude, like, should I head out? Like, she's like, no, it's fine. I got, like, 2 other adult students, but there's not many. I'm like, man, this is embarrassing.
See, what I would have done is I would have let you borrow my tour van that looks like a serial killer is living in it.
Oh, no.
And you pull up in that, and then all the kids would leave because their parents would be like, oh, fuck no, you're not taking mine.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it doesn't help that I have a shaved head and I'm covered in tattoos, so it's not like I look like the most, like, innocent human being walking in there. Like, It's like super funny. I look like I'm from like a heavy metal band or something.
That's fucking great. I love that shit. That's the kind of stuff though. You brave it, so it doesn't really. As long as you're braving it, I can't knock people. It's the people who are like, I can't do that. I can't do. Oh, I fucking hate that.
Oh no,
I hate that so much.
I definitely ran it for what it was worth.
Yeah. No, you just gotta, you gotta dive in. Like people laugh because they're like, dude, you're a musician. You don't have stage fright. You don't like, fuck, dude. That whole vomiting blood thing, that wasn't an act. That wasn't special effects. I was literally like, I'm freaking out.
I'm freaking out. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it's the people that do brave it. Like, you have to kind of go into things like absolutely scared, but like not showing it.
Yeah. Well, even if you do show it, just own it.
Right. Yeah,
own
exactly.
It.
Exactly.
Like, I love watching, like, America's Got Talent or something where you watch the person and they're trembling. You know they're just breaking out.
But they do so good.
And then they hit that moment where the whole crowd connects with them, and then they're just like, you don't give a fuck if they win. You want them to win, but you don't give a fuck because they just won.
Right.
They just won. The moment that connection happened,
they just
open their eyes.
Step for themselves, yeah.
And they realize that, okay, people are in. Like, I connected. I did it. Yeah. That's those moments that... And you can have that in small times, and people don't realize that. There's those little moments of catching somebody in the grocery store, and, one of my favorite things to do, because I do look the way I look, and people tend to kind of assume I'm a prick and probably going to steal their baby. When somebody, like, is really, like, looking good, I don't care, guy, girl, anybody, if they're, like, looking good or they're feeling something, I hear him, I will walk up and be like, hey, no disrespect, not trying to hit on you or nothing, but you look great, or that was badass, your makeup's on point, or, your hair's fucking phenomenal.
I'm one of those people, too, like, especially because, like, I work in such, like, a various place of, like, so many different people, so many styles, so many aesthetics, like, absolutely, like, comment on anyone who's just, like, taking that extra step, that, like, wearing that extra winged eyeliner, looking absolutely insanely crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that extra, like,
yeah, that moment of separation, that moment of I did this just
the moment of
just
separation. I like that.
Yeah, I love that, and it's too often missed. It's missed in most situations because it's either, like, I know makeup artists in particular. I follow a lot of special effects and makeup artists on TikTok and YouTube and on Twitter, honestly, where it's like they will do these things that are just so absolutely phenomenal. And I know the amount of work that they spent 18 hours doing a look that they took off in like 30 minutes. Those people deserve there should be a special award for those people for the amount of commitment. The people who learn all these. Yeah, the people who learn all these crazy dances, like that it's like 3 years ago that they're like, I want to learn a TikTok dance, and now they're like, I know every TikTok dance ever, and I'm a trendsetter, and it's like they're not doing it for anything. They're just like, I'm challenging myself to do this. The people who give them, like, lose weight and they do the progress, like, this is day 1 of me working out, this is day 30 of me working out.
I love that because like for some people it's kind of like awkward and embarrassing to start, but like the people that do, like, record their journey, I love that. Like, they inspire me. You know what I mean? Yeah,
like, that's the stuff that real life is made of. And if you can comment on it, like, it's not just and don't get me wrong, I'm also one of those people, like, we, as a society in America, we celebrate mediocrity so fucking much. Like, everybody gets a participation award. Everybody, like, oh, you're doing something. I watch people gas each other up that are not talented. And that actually does bother me. Like, I don't ever want to knock somebody. Like, if you're out there doing it, like, I have a friend who's a DJ who she's not very good. She's not. She's not very good. She's a great singer. Like, holy shit, great singer. And she's got a great attitude. She's got she wants to learn, but she got locked into this whole idea of how this is supposed to work and who she's supposed to be, and she's letting it limit her. But everybody's like, oh, my God, she's so great. Oh, my God, she's so great. And everybody goes and supports her, and everybody tells her how great she is and tells her. So she's not trying to be better, and she doesn't realize she's never going to actually break.
Hold on. I get what you're talking about because, like, it's one of those things. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. I know what you mean because, like, it's like one of those things where it's like, for, like, me, like, I love criticism, like, to help me grow better. You know what I mean? So it's just like one of those things where you got to be honest with your friends. Like, if you don't like something, say that. You know what I mean?
And there's a way to do it. Like, you're doing great.
There is a way to do it. Like,
here's the things you're doing right.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, hey, I love that you're doing this, but you should try this sometime. You know what I mean? Like, that sentence can go so far, especially, like, being, like, an entrepreneur or, like, a business owner or an artist. Like, that kind of stuff, like, is, A, encouraging, and B, it gives them more ideas to, like, help them grow. But it's, like, up to them if they're going to take it, you know?
Absolutely. And you leave the option to them. If they don't take it, they don't take it. But it is one of those, like, a lot of times we're like,
but you are
you
obligated as a friend. As a friend,
Yeah.
you are obligated. As a supporter, you are obligated to, you know, like, love them enough to help them grow. Like, because it's a growing thing. It's nothing personal. Like, I feel like it's a growing thing for anyone in, like, those kind of businesses to just be like, hey, like, I want to help you grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I love one of my favorite message for most people is, so I'm doing this. What am I doing wrong?
I love that.
When they send you something, they know they're not doing it the way they want, or they're not getting the result they want.
Yep.
What am I doing wrong? Help me identify the problem so I can work on it. Those are the people
that are going to go places.
Yeah. Like, I have a rule. Like, I'll pick up any hitchhiker who's walking. If you're walking along the side of the road, I don't care if you have a hockey mask and a fucking katana sword hanging out, dripping in blood. If you're walking and your thumb's out, I'm going to pick you up.
Oh, actually?
Because you're putting effort.
I mean, fair.
You know? You're putting an effort. You're trying to get what you... If you're laying down and you're
cool.
just like, need a ride, nope.
I mean, that's fair.
If you're just not putting effort in, if you're not doing stuff, and I apply that to a lot of people who work. I have people all the time. Hey, can you help me? Hey, we should. Hey, we should. Hey, you could.
Yeah.
Meet me halfway. Meet me halfway, and we'll work. But I'm not going to do 90. I mean, this isn't making out.
You're
it's
not
not
going to write
90-10.
them a book on, like, how to do it.
Yeah, it's not 90-10. It's not like I'm going to do all the hard shit, and then you're going to come the last minute and go, look at me. No.
I get that. I do get that. I do get that.
You know, and so when you see people that are so entrepreneurial and so driven, I know people I have one friend, she has the greatest business idea ever. It is actually like, I actually, like, I want to steal it. It's so good.
Oh.
But she won't do it. She will make a million excuses to not do it. She has been. She had this idea.
To take that first step, maybe.
Yeah, and I don't even know what it is.
The first step is always the scariest.
But see, and that's just it. Is that she's like, well, okay, so let's get the LLC. Let's do this. Let's do that. I mean, she's gone so far as to do all the research, have everything, knows exactly what the costs are, knows everything, and just won't pull the trigger. And and she can't even tell you why. She just won't do it.
Maybe she's just scared to take that first step. Maybe you have to like carry her through that first step.
No, and that's just it. And she keeps saying, well, why don't you just do it? Why don't you just go do it? It's like, because it's your fucking idea. I don't want to do that. I want to.
Yeah,
I mean, I do.
You want
I'm not
to
going to lie.
Like, be able to take the empowerment of it.
Yeah, but it's like, it's such a good idea. Like, this is one of those, I mean, she's 28 years old. She could retire in 5 years. It's that good.
Okay. That good.
It's that fucking good. Like, and she just won't do it. And it drives me nuts because I do too. And I've been pushing her for the last couple of years.
I manifest that she'll just take that step. It'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah, they're those people. But because she keeps putting in the research and keeps putting in the effort, when she asks me a question, I'll help.
Absolutely.
Because even though she's not doing it, she's still thinking. She's still, oh, wait, I identified this problem. And it's like, you identified a problem that could be 8 years down the road that likely will never happen. But you've identified it and now solved the problem before it ever even occurred. So I respect it. I look at that. So there's different levels of commitment. There's different levels of skin in the game that allow you to feel like, okay, you're actually doing this. So I don't know. It's when you look at those people that there's a food blogger I follow. Okay. Actually, I used to follow her on Reddit, and now I follow her on Twitter. She has no followers, none, but she gives the best reviews I've ever read.
Really?
Oh my God, they're spot on.
People like that, they have their times coming. Like, I'm a firm believer that like everyone has their times coming, like in whatever they decide to do, and like timing is like absolutely everything. Like everyone's time will eventually like come, but it's just like I don't know.
Well,
be patient.
Exactly, and I'm like, and I finally was just like, why aren't you trying to push this more? Like, do you want help pushing this? And she's like, no, not really.
Oh.
I was like, you just, and she goes, it's fun for me. I like that I can sit there and interact with my 84 followers and talk to them about things.
But those are the people that are going to go the farthest, are the ones that just absolutely love what they do.
Yeah, and well, that's my thing, is I sit there and I think about it. Like, Guy Fieri, the reason he got, is he was the guy that people would call, like, where should we go eat? Like,
right.
Actual, like, critics, food critics and things would call him to ask where they should go. And he finally went, why am I not doing this myself?
Right.
You know, that's those moments. So I look at it, I'm like, you know, she's doing what she wants for her level. Anytime she asks me for anything, I'm there. Like her website went down, she couldn't figure out why. I went out of my way to help her, and she's like, "What do I do?"
Oh,
like, not
you're
a damn
so
thing.
sweet for that.
Well, that's the stuff that we really do all have to help each other on some level. And do I like getting paid? Yes. Do I deserve to get paid? Yes. Am I expensive? Kinda. But when it comes to stuff that is like, man, that's going to take me 15 minutes. That would take you 3 days. I'm more than happy to help and do those little moments. It's not about being sweet. It's literally like your success matters to me. Your future matters to me because I've watched you be this person for this long and you're committed to who you are. And that the realism of a person. Well, you talked about it, being isolated. One of my favorite personalities, online creators, whatever you want to call her, she started posting more about the struggles she has with her mental health.
Yep.
She feels very isolated.
Yep.
She's like, people don't realize how much time we spend editing alone, doing photo work alone, doing promo work alone, traveling alone. You know, she goes, yeah, I have these great connections with certain people. I talk to certain people, but I'm alone 90%
and I feel like
of the time.
as humans, like we need to like feel connected to someone at least every so often, like to be able to like have someone where you're like, someone else can hear my feelings and my thoughts and like just like laugh, like have a good time. Like that is like so necessary.
Yeah. Well, and those are the things that like I send memes. I'm really bad at being really personal. I suck at it. I can give really good relationship advice. I can give really good mental health advice.
You give really good advice. You give really good advice.
But the idea of like actually living that's really hard for me.
Yeah.
like
and
I know this
not
is the right
everybody.
thing, but
like I know people that are like super unemotional beings and they just would rather not show emotion. And I'm like one of the most like probably like emotional like feeling type of person. Like I always feel all the feelings.
Well, and see, that's it. But you own it. If you own it, it's okay. It's just for me. I wouldn't know how to express. Like when I'm really frustrated, everybody knows it. Am I talking about it? No.
No.
I'm just leave me the fuck alone for like 20 minutes so I can calm down. That kind of shit. And everybody kind of knows. Okay, don't poke the bear.
And
We're
there's
good,
like nothing wrong with that. Like at all. Like I feel like there's like two types of people.
Yeah. So in watching that, like your sense of isolation is because of your hustle. Your sense of you're like, I kind of enjoy the view. Okay,
I can get so much more done when like my blinders are up and I'm just like what's speaking to me, like what art do I want to do and why do I want to do it, like what inspires me, and like just finding inspiration and creativity alone is like amazing for me. But that doesn't work for everybody, you know.
It doesn't. And the one thing in business that I have found, as far as making real personal connections through business, is that I want to be that person that comes to mind when shit hits the fan.
Yep.
When it's like, oh, fuck, we're broke down in the middle of nowhere, or, oh, shit, I lost this, or how do I find this, or I'm not where I'm supposed to be, or I want people to think, oh, if I call Eric, he'll probably know how to do that. That's my niche. That's my goal, to be that connection. And you don't find those connections easily. You don't find those people. And I have one friend. Well, we're not even friends anymore. We haven't spoken in well over a year at this point. It sucks, but one of my former friends used to tell me, she goes, the reason that we all come to you and the reason we all trust you when we don't trust other people is that, she's like, I know I could show up on your doorstep at 4 a.m. covered in blood, and instead of freaking out, you'd be like, so are you hurt or are we hiding a body? And she's like, you need that sense of calm sometimes, of somebody just reacting to the situation so extreme as if it doesn't even matter, and then working back to, okay, how do we fix or deal with this?
Right. I do feel that because, like, I feel like I'm that kind of person, but emotionally for some people. Like, when people, like, go through a hardship, they know that they can just, like, call me and I'll just, like, be there. Like, whether it's just, like, lying up with them all night and talking them through it or just sitting there in silence. Like, I've always been that kind of friend just to, like, emotionally, like, help people through their situations.
See, and that's the thing. I wish I knew how to do that. I don't, and maybe it's just being a guy. Honestly, I don't know. I've tried, and there's been a few people, the guy Josh was talking about earlier, he made me damn near cry on my own podcast. He actually pulled enough of me out of me, and I was like, bro, like, fuck off a little. Like, damn.
Stop.
Like, no, that's not okay. Like, wow, holy shit.
Don't make me feel weak.
Like, I don't want to feel these. This is not, I don't like the emotions. Just let's go back to cracking jokes.
This is not supposed to be about me.
Yeah, let's just go crack jokes again and talk about how small each other's wieners are. Let's do that.
Oh,
Just
God,
easier.
yeah.
You know, it's that kind of stuff. But I am the guy who, like, I will be thinking about somebody. I'll be like, hey, thinking about you. Or I send memes. I'm big on that. Like, people they're like, why do you send so many memes? Like, did I make you laugh? Well, yeah, that's why.
That's how I communicate.
Because when you think
feelings.
of me, it's I sent you something funny.
Yeah. See, that's cool.
You know?
I like that. I really like that.
Because I don't want to be the guy who's like, I mean, and there's times where I do feel disconnected, but I kind of do it on purpose. Like, for me, it's not on the same level as you, where I'm like, I need to get work done. It's literally like I have learned that if I have too many people that I'm connected to, I let myself get kind of torn into pieces.
Yep.
And I lose focus on not necessarily business stuff, but I lose focus on what's important, why I'm doing it all.
Why it's important, yeah.
Yeah, why am I struggling? Why am I fighting? Why am I, like, what's the point? I do that. But, like, then you watch people like the girl I'm talking about that she's like, I feel so isolated. I feel her honesty now has allowed people to reach out to her that feel the same and are like, oh, my God, I thought I was alone. Thank you for publicly. Like, some of my favorite online personalities in particular, but even television personalities and things like that, are the ones who, like, will show up to an interview with, like, zit cream.
That's awesome.
Like, I'm not ashamed of the fact that, yes, I too have pimples. Yes, hey, you know, well, okay, when you shaved your head, you were like, I'm not sure this is a good idea or not, but I kind of dig it.
I was like, I had no idea. Like, I literally woke up and I was like, I kind of want to shave my head, like, you know, almost like bald, and everyone was like, okay, yeah. They didn't doubt it, because I really do be doing some, like, spontaneous stuff sometimes. But, yeah, I remember taking a nap, and I was like, I think I was avoiding trying to make the decision whether I was actually going to show up to my hair appointment or not, but I absolutely hate canceling last minute on anybody. And so I woke up from my nap, and I had, like, 15 minutes to get to the salon, and I was like, all right, you got to get up and, like, go. And I was like, I have no clue if I'm just going to go in there and, like, not do anything, or if I'm actually going to do it. And then I did it, and it was, like, probably the best decision I've ever done.
Well, because it gives you that. Well, and you know, the cliche stereotype is a woman changes her hair when she's going through some kind of a crisis or has gone through a big life change.
Absolutely, they're probably not wrong with that one.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it is, and it's a big indicator. The same as men who go through midlife crises will try and, you know, buy a sports car or date younger women, or yeah, like they do something extravagant or dumb, you know, some pointless thing to make themselves feel something. You know, that to me is a healthier way of, like, okay, you're a cutter, you're just not using a razor blade.
Right.
It's a healthier way of doing that, but there's a good way and a bad way, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You know, I know more women who have changed their hair and then been really disappointed with the results, even though they did it with I'm going to feel better because I'm going to change who I am. Then they do something like, fuck, I don't like this person.
I know. I was, like, super worried about that. I was, like, because I didn't know what I was going to look like. I was, like, I mean, I was really gambling with that one because, like, I could have, like, either, like, made or break everything.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the first time I cut all my hair off, I mean, my hair was down to my ankles, and I cut it all off. And I was just like, for one, like, holy shit, what am I going to look like? Is my baby going to recognize me? My wife my wife at the time was extremely unhappy about the situation, but I had to do it. I just couldn't maintain living in the Midwest with all that hair.
Right.
I couldn't do it. And I was going to school and being a professional, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do this. I did it, and then now I have these varying degrees of, like, sometimes I will bick my head and leave a mohawk. Sometimes I will let my hair grow out. Like, I do all these things.
Yeah, you can just do different things, yeah.
Yeah, you just learn, okay, this isn't my identity. This is a part of who I am. For a guy, that's a lot easier. With a woman, though, okay, and one of my favorite mistakes that men make is that women get dressed up or do their makeup or do those things for the sake of attracting men. Not the case.
Right. No, not at all.
Literally, you are playing a character that you present to the world, and you're doing it mostly for other women to notice and to kind of notice each other and go, okay, yeah, it's not peacocking. It's not any of that stuff. I guess it'd be peahenning in that situation. But, you know, you're not doing that. It's literally, I'm doing this because this is the face I present to the world. This is the hair that I present to the world. This is the clothing that I present to the world. This is my identity that I choose for this moment.
Well, and I feel like with me, like with my hair, like it was kind of like, I think it was like the milestone for me that I was like, I'm actually going to like take my art serious. Like it was kind of like a whole like inspirational change for me. I'm like, I want to like do different colors for my hair. I wanted to, like, just do different things and, like, put more time into, like, my work and, like, my aesthetic and, like, what makes me happy,
There you go. And that's exactly it, is you're choosing that for you. That matters more, regardless of the result, as far as what other people perceive, than anything else.
Yeah. Well, everyone was, like, very, like, everyone had, like, felt like they had, like, obviously, like, I mean, I shaved my head bald, so everyone had some sort of commentary on it. Like, people are like, oh, I missed your hair, or, like, are you going to miss your hair? Are you sure you should have did that? And it's just, like, one of those things I'm like, well, I did it for me. Like, I didn't really care what you were going to think about it. Otherwise, I, like, would have asked you,
Well, like, people don't, I mean, I've watched people get stupid tattoos for years.
Yeah.
And there's a way to be like, are you sure that was a good idea? Versus, like, dude, that's a dumb fucking tattoo. Like, there's those things. And they're the same sentence. They're just, it's how you state them. And so when somebody's asking, like, did you just make a mistake? Well, in your opinion, I did. But in my opinion, fuck no, I did what I wanted.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
And you can turn it. I mean, the guy who has the no regrets, that's RAGRETS, no regrets. He turned that into a whole ass fucking movie career.
Right.
He was like, yeah, I fucked up, but it's funny now, so I'm gonna play with it.
Super funny now.
It's that kind of shit. Like, you can even turn bad ideas into good things. I don't know. I think that we live in a society today that is so in this moment that doesn't think about the long term.
Yeah.
Like, we're so temporary, and like everybody, and I don't want to sound like I'm knocking people with ADHD, but people act like that's an excuse now.
Right.
Well, I have ADHD. It's like, are you diagnosed? Well, no.
Right.
Oh God, the one that gets me is OCD. Because I actually have mild OCD.
Right.
It's very mild. There's literally like 2 or 3 things that get to me. And other than that, I'm fine. But there's 2 or 3 things that are like debilitating to the level of like I can't go in an exit or out an entrance.
I do feel that. Like, I have no diagnosis, but like I'm literally like I have this like really bad thing. Like, I can't leave the shopping cart in the middle of a parking lot. I have to put it back. Or if I get something, I'm like, oh, I want to get something else. I have to literally go put it exactly back. Even if it's on the other side of the store, I have to put it back where I got it from. It does not matter how far it is. I have to do it. Otherwise, I literally, like, I can't do it.
And there's these little moments that everybody experiences, and those are fine. But people are like, "Oh, I'm so OCD because they fucking have all their pencils in their box," or that's not OCD. Like it's for some people, like for me, like the exit thing. Like I have literally been trapped in an airlock at an airport for 3.5 hours because
you just couldn't do it.
I got in because it said exit in the first door, and I went through, but the other exit was blocked, and both entrances weren't turned on. I was stuck. I was fucking stuck. I couldn't do a fucking thing. And it was mortifying.
Aww.
And I was trying to like force myself, and it was like, I've had friends try and drag me through them, and they've ended up getting punched in the face. Like, I can't do it. There's those light switches. I have gone through every home I've had and made sure down is off.
I get that.
If I move into a house where that's not the case, I'm not an electrician.
Yeah.
I will go through and switch the switches so that down is off. They have to be.
I mean, I get that. Yeah.
I can't be. It's the very first thing I do in every place I live. I've done it in hotels. I've literally pulled out my little Leatherman and switched the switches in a hotel because I couldn't sleep, knowing that switch is up and that light is off.
No, that switch is backwards.
It's fucking wrong, it's dumb little shit, but it's truly debilitating.
But it makes sense. Yeah, I was gonna say, but it makes sense to you. So
so when people throw that whole like I'm so OCD or I have ADHD, it's like no, you just don't pay attention. Like you just unless something really. And the one that gets me is the number of people who like we'll be talking about movies. A lot of my friends, we watch a lot of films and a lot of movies and things like that. And there's all these friends like, oh yeah, I've seen that, and they'll know like 4 or 5 basic key scenes, but they missed the gist of the whole thing, and it's like. What were you watching? Because you watched a completely different movie than I did because you simply just like, what? Did you just like in the middle of the theater, like pull up your phone and start scrolling Facebook?
Started fading out and not paying attention?
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And I've had people that I've watch a movie and at the end of it go like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. And these aren't like Inception, okay, I didn't know what the fuck happened. That was great. I loved that. Like, The Sixth Sense came to the end. I was like, fuck, did not see that coming. Those things are great. I love that stuff. And you expect that in some things. But when you're watching, like, well, we just watched Pacific Rim, not a lot of thought in that one. I don't know. Like, Fast and the Furious, these are not difficult concept movies.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, what's going on right now? Who is that? Seriously? Like, just pay attention. And unfortunately, that has now bled into a way of living where people use that as an excuse. Well, I can't pay attention. I can't focus for more than 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And that, to me, is
kind of like a norm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's become acceptable, and I don't like that. I don't understand that. Like, to me, like, I watch friends who will go sit and do one thing for like 7 hours that they're completely focused on and completely want to do, not eat, not drink, get up just basically to pee, and if that, and that's it.
Yeah.
But then you ask them to, like, sit through a dinner, and they can't do it without getting distracted by their phone or wandering off. Or it's so strange to me how...
I feel like there's, like, certain things that people can, like, focus on, like, more than others. Like, for me, though, like, I can't sit through a movie. Won't do it. I could literally maybe make it through, like, I've probably maybe seen, like, a handful of movies. Like, I can't make it through more than 2 minutes. Like, not a chance.
Well, and see, that's just it. You can say that. I have friends who will tell me that they're like, I love movies, I love this, but they're the same way. Or they're sleepers, which that's my favorite. People go to the theater and fall asleep, or come sit on the couch, let's watch this movie, and then they're out.
I mean, I'm like in between.
Yeah, like, I'm like, cool. If you own that, own it.
Yeah. But then there's things like editing pictures. I could sit at my computer for hours and be completely content.
For me, it depends. Sometimes it's the shoot. Sometimes I spend so much time with concept that lots of times people don't realize that even if I'm doing just a basic glam shoot, there's a concept in my head, and if I can't find the concept or I'm not liking it, I'll avoid editing because I don't know where to go with it. And I'm usually editing 7 to 10 shoots at a time. Yeah. I don't do a shoot and then edit it, and then a shoot and then edit it. Like, for one, just the cut down, because I'm old school. I learned on film. I learned on fast track. I learned I learned runway and concert photography. You shoot.
I love that. See, I want to shoot artists and, like, do music. Like, that's, like, where I want to be.
It's fun as hell. It's fun as hell.
That's my vibe. Like, that's what I'm, like, meant to be. Like.
Yeah, but it's literally like, I'll shoot. On an average shoot, an average hour and a half to 2 hour shoot, I will shoot anywhere from 12 to 1,500 images. Yep. That's my average. And then I got to break it down to 80. And my policy has always been, I will never share a photo you don't approve if you're the model. So I'll break it down to like 60, 80, anything, and then I put it in a Dropbox and I share it with you, and then it's, okay, you pick your favorite 12 or 16 or 20, and then we break it down again, and then I'm going to edit these. That way I'm not wasting my time in editing, you're not wasting your time. But then trying to delve into, like, you know how it is. There's times you look at a shot and you're like, that's a bullshit shot. I fucking hate it. I look like crap. I don't like that angle. And the photographer's just like, that's my favorite shot in the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, everyone's like, literally, like, I feel like I was just talking about this with someone the other day. Like, everyone has, like, what's appealing to them. And, like, it's going to be completely different than what you like than what I like, unless we have, like, the same, like, aesthetic and we have the same vibe and we love the same things. But that's not going to always be the case.
Yeah. I've had to sit down with models recently where they're like, okay, like, we'll go through and they'll pick, like, 3. I'm like, no. There's, like, 70 good images, and you picked 3. Why? And I will go through it with them, and we will actually spell out why they like those 3 and what's wrong. And then I have to say, well, this one tells this story. And this is why I like this image.
Like, exactly. Like, with that, like, I feel like when you're, like, looking at images, like, what my vision isn't always going to be the same vision as what, like, the person I'm shooting is. Like, I might go into a concept where we could even talk about the whole concept, but, like, what the picture in my mind is going to be different than their picture. And I think, like, that's the art and photography and, like, working with models is, like, finding that inner piece of, like, the middle of where we both see the same, like, vision.
And that's exactly it. But it's so hard to find that sometimes. Like, I have one of my favorite models. God, she's one of my favorites. But she has, like, these 3 poses that are her power poses, and that's all she will really do for me. That's all she will really do. So all of her shoots.
Those are her, like, signature ones.
Yeah, like, these are her poses. So we have to go so extreme with her outfits so they look different, or we have to change locations, or we just know that's what we got to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you find a point where that's what you do. You literally go, okay, cool, this is how we have to do it.
Yep.
But it takes time to develop that. To understand that about working with somebody, like, okay, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to give me. So I have to give you this so that we find that happy balance between the two of us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, again, it's just, I'm just here pushing buttons.
Yeah, I feel that. I do. I get exactly what you're talking about.
Like, what's your most nightmare shoot you've ever done? Like, where you just had the worst experience, either as a model or a photographer?
That's a tough one. Because, like, I feel like even, like, the shoots that were, like, troubling for me, like, I still, like, walked away from them, like, we'll try this again and we'll do better next time. Like, I've loved every photographer that I've worked with. So it's, like, really hard for me to even, like, take anything bad out of them.
You're fucking lucky then.
Yeah.
Right now,
well, I mean, there was probably, like,
a
couple shoots when I was, like, younger where I, like, didn't know what I was, like, doing. And, like, I just get, like, super confused and frustrated because, like, my biggest thing is, like, I hate being told what to do in shoots because, like, I love to, like, pose myself. Right. So, like, I think that's the only time I'd ever get, like, irritated is when people, like, try to tell me how to pose or, like, you know what I mean? Like, just being told what to do. I'm not good at that.
See, I love directing if it's warranted. But if you're just moving it and, like, we're just having a conversation.
Yeah, like, I'm
you're
just
moving
and I want to do my own thing and, like, that's it.
Yeah. That makes you a better shoot.
Yeah, well, and the second I get posed, I'm like, I feel like a statue. You know what I mean? Like, it's not natural for me.
Yeah. So my worst shoot ever, I worked with a model who had 7 years experience. She started when she was 14. I was shooting with her when she was 21. She wanted to do a nature shoot. She was out there, like, she had an agency and everything, set this whole thing up. Like this, she's a true professional, doing stuff, making money. They do this thing. We get the outfits. We go to the location. There's two of their grips there helping, doing stuff. They're like helping out, and they're like, yeah, we got lighting. We got, we'll hold the umbrellas. We'll do all this shit. And we get her up against for the first thing. I get my lighting set. I get my rig all ready, and I'm like, okay. So, and I explained to her, okay, so I shoot a lot. I talk. We're gonna have a conversation. You just keep moving, keep doing. She's like, okay, and she goes into a pose against this tree. Yeah. And just sits there. I'm like, you can move, and she's like, okay, but doesn't move. I'm like, why don't you take your left hand and reach back and hold the tree? She's like, okay, and doesn't do it. What? So I set my camera on my tripod. I walk over to her, and I move her hand where I want, and I move her foot a little bit, and I change the lighting a little bit, and I go back and I say, okay, now I need you to do this angle. I need you to do this angle, and they change the lighting, and I start taking pictures. I'm like, okay, so I need you to, where I just put your hand, match that with your right hand, and she says, okay, it doesn't move.
Was she just zoned out?
No, she just literally could not follow direction. It went on like that for 45 minutes.
Okay, I will say, now that you brought nature up, you made me have a really bad remembrance. So I did a shoot. Super fun shoot. Loved it. Honestly, probably one of my favorite shoots, like, to this day. But it was at a state park with a waterfall. And I was, like, doing my thing. I'm in my little bikini. And, like, this place is filled with people. Like, it was a beautiful summer day. So everyone's at this waterfall just hanging out. And I was like, I'm going to climb underneath the waterfall so we can get some, like, sick shoots. And I'm, like, strutting my stuff, doing my thing. Everyone's, like, staring at me because they're like, why is there a girl in a bikini and a person with a camera? Like, obviously. I slipped off of the waterfall. I knocked myself out for, like, a slight second. Like, gave myself pure concussion. Like, and I'm, like, laying at the bottom of this, like, little waterfall thing, just sprawled out.
That's horrible.
It was so embarrassing. I'm like, I got up. My ears were, like, ringing. Like, I hit my head so hard. Like, I had no, like, recollection of, like, that last few seconds. Like, it was insane. It was so embarrassing.
And, of course, there's a ton of people watching, and then the photographer is like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, everybody's seeing it, and the photographer doesn't know what to do. And you're like, yeah, that kind of stuff. That's horrible.
Yeah, but then the best part is, like, I finished the shoot. Like, I still got up, and I still, like, finished the shoot. Like, I just, like, rolled with it, and then I had to go to the ER afterwards because I was concussed.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah. And I've had to if I'm shooting with somebody that I'm friends with, my favorite moment ever. Aeon Cruz is one of my favorite actresses, musicians, friends. Like we've been tight. We finally get an opportunity to do our first shoot together. This years ago. I think we're looking at like a decade ago or more. And I'm like, all right, what do you want to do? And she gets out her base. She gets out her stuff. She has all her outfits. We pick everything. I'm like, we got these 4. where do you want to shoot? She goes, honestly, I'm leaving a location to you based on the outfits. I don't really like being over running water. I don't like heights, and I'd really like to not be, like, in the middle of traffic. So I found a bridge 60 feet over moving water, and I made her go on the outside of the rails, so I shot over traffic.
Stop.
Yeah. It's one of her favorite shoots, because I literally went, oh, you hate these things? Welcome to hell. Welcome to the shit show.
That's insane. I would have been terrified. I should have went with those rules, though, when I did this shoot. It was insane.
Yeah, she's like, this is what I don't want, and I deliberately did that. So she told a bunch of people that I worked with that, like, don't tell him what you don't want to do, because he'll make you do it. So I flip it on them, and they're like, okay, so I really want to do this and this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, cool, we'll do that.
Cool, so that makes you go out of your comfort zone. Did those pictures turn out amazing, though, since she
they
did take that step?
Yeah, she loved everything about it. And everybody was like, holy shit, this is so new for you. Now she doesn't have that fear. With other people I've worked with since, it's the same way. I'm literally like, okay, if this makes you super comfortable, I'm just going to add an element that makes you go, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, but I feel like that, like, because it makes, like, I don't know, brings you out of your comfort zone, and you can start doing, like, I don't know, just, like, things that aren't your norm.
Yeah. Like, I have a girl who, she does all these really very pretty headshots, all stuff. I'm shooting with her in 2 weeks in Denver, and she's like, I want you to cover me in gore. Make me the nastiest, grossest zombie dead thing ever. And her agency is super pissed, but she's like, I'm doing it. Fuck off.
Really?
Yeah. They're super upset about it, but she's like, I want to do this. I've wanted to do this.
And, like, that's why I like doing, like, freelance modeling. Like, because, like, I mean, like, it's obviously not the most, like, profitable, but, like, I can do whatever I want and have, like, the freedom, but I can still do, like, side projects if I wanted to.
Well, and that's what you need. You need to be artistic freedom. You don't have the artistic freedom in everything you're doing. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is, so.
Yeah,
well,
I love that.
We've rambled on here for quite some time. I'm glad we got this, and of course, nobody else that was listening so I didn't realize you were traveling to work, so it's just kind of great. You got, let's see, is everything under Little Paulson 5 or 5.0?
Little Paulson 5.0.
Okay, perfect. God, you've got, what, like 65,000 followers on TikTok, is that right?
TikTok, I think it's 85 almost.
Oh, God. I was thinking it was like 65 the last time I looked, which is a while ago. And then you got a decent Instagram following, 23.5, somewhere in there. I know that.
Yeah, I think somewhere in there, yeah.
You're doing what you need to. Definitely. The reason I like your Instagram is it's a mix of your modeling, your art, your products, and, like, inspirational shit that actually is relevant rather than just the dumb shit that people have posted out there. It's like, hang in there, buddy. You don't have to do that.
It's not live, laugh, love, no.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not your Hobby Lobby style of fucking inspiration, so I dig that.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment.
Oh, definitely. Don't get me wrong, I go to Hobby Lobby.
Don't get me wrong, I was going to say, that's not bad Hobby Lobby. I love that place, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I go there, but I usually go with, like, one of my guy friends, and we hold hands to make everybody follow us and be mad.
Oh, I love that.
We're just assholes.
I love that. I love that a lot.
Yeah, so, well, you enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Thank you for
having me on.
Oh, absolutely. The only thing I got to ask you is, what are 2 songs you can't stop listening to lately?
Ooh, that's a really good one. I would say my 2 favorite songs right now. Does it matter genre or no? No. Ooh, I would probably say Earthquake by Jasiah and Jaden, and Not a Home by Pardyalone.
Okay.
So they're like
the beauty of being me is I know how to get licensing and stuff, and I like doing intro and outro music. If I can make it work, I'm going to. So. Absolutely. Cool. Well, you have a good rest of your day, and we will talk soon. Perfect. Thank you. It's good hearing from you. Good talking to you. Bye. Bye. House don't feel like home.